So, can we just guess what is the best city in the world according to Travel and Leisure magazine in 2022? You guessed it right. It is Oaxaca de Juarez, a city where the magical atmosphere transports you through time. Once you arrive to Oaxaca, the first and the best thing to do is to wander the streets of this charming city. There is something about this place that I've never experienced anywhere before. People are very friendly and inviting. The architecture is beautiful, and the culture is so vibrant. I spent a week there and I was able to enjoy some of their colorful festivities like this wedding parade and the Galagetza festival. That is another reason for wandering the streets, as you never know what kind of celebration you may encounter on your way. And now let me tell you a little bit about the Galagetza. So, it is a festival of music, costumes, dances, and food. But it is also a celebration of the mutual interdependence of people within a community. It celebrates the importance in indigenous cultures of sharing. Today, it is the largest folklore festival in the Americas. I arrived to Oaxaca during the final days of Guelaguetza celebration, and I was lucky to witness their biggest show, which is called the Delegation Parade. I was in awe, I'm telling you. Dance performances featured more than 60 delegations from the regions, displaying their artistic heritage. This entire delegation parade was so much fun, and I feel so grateful I had a chance to experience this festival. It was definitely one of the highlights of my entire Mexico trip. While in Oaxaca, you would definitely want to visit the Museum of Oaxacan Cultures, housed in the beautiful monastery buildings adjoining the Templo Santo Domingo. The main exhibition is all about the treasures found in Tomb 7 at Monte Alban, and it is one of the richest and most famous archaeological discoveries ever encountered from pre-Columbian Mesoamerica. Amongst the objects found in the Tomb 7, there were a human skull covered in turquoise mosaic, bone carvings, beadwork, gold jewelry and objects, and seashells and pearls. And the monastery building itself is very pretty. From there you will get amazing views of Botanical Garden, which I recommend you to visit as well. Downtown Oaxaca will surprise you with the amount of art galleries. It's incredible. Everywhere you go, you can bump into one. You can spend days browsing those art galleries and museums, starting with Museum of Contemporary Art and ending with the Textile Museum. And even if you are not really into museums and stuff, you still won't be able to avoid art. It will surround you everywhere you go. This how artistic Oaxaca is. Alright, so they have quite a few markets in Oaxaca, and the main ones are Mercado Benito Juarez and Mercado 20 de Noviembre. You can also pop into the artisanal market, they all are located next to each other anyway. And of course, I just couldn't skip shopping in those cute boutiques. Especially I loved their pottery work. I got few pieces for myself in Tisne Gallery, which I do recommend you to visit. I also like taking free walking tours. It's a good opportunity to learn about different neighborhoods, gastronomy, music, and discover some of the hidden gems which you otherwise wouldn't have known about. And on this tour, we visited the colorful Xochimilco neighborhood, which is the oldest neighborhood in Oaxaca City. I returned there by myself the other day, and so basically you just need to walk on Garcia Vigil Street, on which you will find plenty of shops, restaurants, and cute buildings. And if by this point you don't feel like you've seen enough of Oaxaca City, then you can opt for a city tour either in this mezcal bus or a tram. The Zapotec Tour was one of the highlights of my trip. I found it on Airbnb and I will link it below in case you want to experience it for yourself. First, we went to one of the villages outside Oaxaca City where we could learn about the weaving process of a wool rug, what are the materials they use, and the process of making the natural dyes for the rugs. On our next stop, we learned how the beeswax candles are made, everything from dyeing the wax to creating and decorating a candle, as well as some of their traditions and how these candles are used in different celebrations such as marriages and Day of the Dead.
It's a present for the bride's family. At the end of the day, we need to share. It's not only for my mother or for my father. We share all the present with all the members.
And here the lady is demonstrating how the candles are created and what designs they can make.
Material, it's very flexible. We can now close it or open again.
It won't break.
No, it's support. To paste the flowers, we didn't use any type of glue. We paste with the same wax.
And as she mentioned, they don't use any glue, they use the same wax to assemble a candle.
And this flower, it can be decoration for our candles.
Back in the day of this small Zapotec community, the young couples used to date in secret. And it was common for a groom to steal his bride, only for the couple to later return and beg for forgiveness. It is easier than to ask for permission, right? And so the groom and his family would arrive at the doorstep of bride's family with everyone carrying one of these stunning multicolored candles. Today, the candles are a cultural heritage of the state and one of the most deeply rooted Oaxacan traditions. Afterwards, we went to the village where the women of the red clay live and create. They dedicate all of their lives to the mastery of their craft. And by the way, this lady is a star in her village, and you can find some of her pieces in the Museum of Modern Art in New York. And our last stop was at the one of the mezcal distilleries. I'm not into drinking, as you may already know, but it was interesting to visit and see how it's made. I also took a day trip to Monte Alban, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, containing a well-preserved terraced pyramid and other pre-Columbian cultural artifacts. And it is the second largest ceremonial site in all of Central America. And after visiting pyramids, we ended up in a local village where we got to see how the alebrijes are created. And alebrijes are brightly colored Mexican folk art sculptures of fantasy creatures, and they represent the animal counterpart of people. The trip ended with a tour of San Bartolo Coyotepec Church and the Cuilapam Convent. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it is probably Buleng. I do recommend this place a lot, but bear in mind there is always a queue to enter. Enjoying my food on this local pottery resulted in me wanting to buy some for myself. Levadura de olla. I loved this place. Their signature tomato salad was really cool to try, and then I also had vegan tacos, I just forgot to film them, and the cheesecake. Yerba Dulce is a very cozy spot with a plenty of plant-based options to enjoy. It was very good. I even went there a couple of times. And make sure to try their cremoso de chocolate oaxaqueño, which is this one. Calabacitas Tiernas. It says on the menu that it's a healthy food restaurant. They have a variety of options for different types of diets as well as vegan and vegetarian. I enjoyed my food there a lot, I have to say. Gluck is a very lovely vegan spot. I enjoyed their chia seed pudding. The coffee was amazing, and I really liked how they put that tiny little reassuring note. La Selva de los Gatos. This place literally touched my heart. It is a cute coffee shop full of cats, as you can guess from its name. This buddy was my companion. He kindly joined me at my table. So if you're a cat person, definitely check this place out. Casa de los Arcos was the first hotel I stopped at. It is a tiny boutique hotel with just 4 rooms, and this was my room on the right, by the way. This place looks like it comes straight out of a fairy tale, guys. Seriously magic. Again, it reminded me the Pixar movie Coco for some reason, probably the decorations and the tree, and I really enjoyed staying there. My next stop was Quinta Real, and the Quinta Real property takes up an entire city block and has a lot to discover. It is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is a member of historic hotels worldwide. Captivated by charming gardens, beautiful courtyards, and serene fontaines, Quinta Real is one of the world's most beautiful places to stay. Built in 16th century, the hotel was originally the convent of Santa Catalina de Siena, home to nuns who lived there a life of seclusion for centuries. One of the highlights is the fountain in the Los Lavaderos courtyard, so named because it was once used for laundry by the nuns. And much of the structure has been carefully restored to its original appearance under the guidance of Mexico National Institute of History and Anthropology. Once you enter the hotel, it feels like traveling back in time. I derived so much pleasure from looking at those lush orange trees, listening to the live music played daily by the musicians, and treating myself from time to time to some of their signature desserts. In the afternoon, upon exiting my room, I literally bumped into a monk. This gentleman is a hotel employee dressed like a monk, and that aims to recreate the convent-like experience for the guests. I watched him lighting the candles while he was telling me the history of this place, what this building has been throughout almost 500 years, how it transitioned from the convent to the prison, and eventually to this charming hotel that it is. On some walls you can still see the engraved handwriting of the prisoners who stayed there at that time. Then he kindly showed me around, and he took me to the room, which is called an antique bedroom.
Una recámara muy antigua que en ese tiempo ocupaban mucho los señores, los reyes los de España.
¿Se puede entrar?
Entrar únicamente hay que hablar a recepción.
Ah, ok.
Sí, casi no está abierta.
Initially, the nuns used to occupy this room, and then years later, even royals. It was locked, and I had to get a special permission from the reception to enter, which I did the following day. Everything you see in the room is in the exact condition it was found years ago. The other day, another staff member was showing me around, and eventually we entered the chapel. Now, what I experienced there surprised me a lot. I'm not strong in acoustic geometry or anything of that sort, so I will try my best to convey to you what happened in simple words. Alright, so there is a dome ceiling with holes in it, made in a way so that sound could travel from point A to point B. Let me explain. By positioning ourselves in two opposite diagonal corners, we could literally whisper and still be able to clearly hear what each of us was saying. And bear in mind, this area is quite big.
Hay mucho ruido, ¿no?
Sí, porque estamos
Listo, sí.
¿Tienes alguna pregunta?
No, no tengo ninguna pregunta, pero
Ahora sí estás sorprendida, ¿no?
sí, estoy sorprendida.
And if you try to stand in two parallel corners, it won't work. In fact, you could speak very loudly and the other person standing just across from you won't hear anything. Who knows how they used this feature back then, but it is something I've never seen anywhere before. And this is a dining area which has an interesting art installation. Those ceramic jars were found buried beneath the lobby during renovation. They were once used to store oil and vinegar. In the same dining area, you can see the paintings dated from about 500 years ago. Each painting shows one of the apostles and the way they may have died according to scripture. Also, during the late 1800s, the northeast section of the property was used as a Masonic lodge, and you can see the evidence of that on the faded fresco on the wall of the gift shop. This place is just full of mysteries, I'm telling you guys. Mornings there were especially beautiful, and I really enjoyed their breakfast too. I have to say that staying at Quinta Real was an experience on its own, and for me it was absolutely worth it. By the way, this is a pool area I haven't taken you to earlier. It is very classy, and here you can see part of the original convent exterior, where the cantera stone was used. And yeah, to sum up this trip, I can tell you this. The ways this vibrant city, its passionate traditions, and warm-hearted people inspired me can merely be described in words. This was an experience one can never forget. And on that note, I would like to thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this trip with me to the beautiful city of Oaxaca. And if you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Take care, guys, and I will see you soon.